The Atlanta Braves still have not won back-to-back games after they dropped one to the Toronto Blue Jays 6-3. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. He's Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. And Jake, I was hoping to get together with you again under better circumstances, coming off of just a fantastic win by Atlanta last night. They go out and you get the rare Spencer Schwellenbach struggle game. Atlanta drops the second game of the series 6-3, setting up a rubber match tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get to that because there's a couple things to be excited about with that one. But I think first, we've got to talk about Spencer Schwellenbach and having that rare bad start. 4 2/3 innings, 6 runs on 6 hits. Most of the damage comes in a 5th inning that he ends up not getting out of. What were your thoughts on what happened there to Schwellenbach in the 5th inning?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely our turning point of the ball game here. But I think for me, what really set it up is the at-bat to Miles Straw to begin that inning. You got ahead of him 1-2. You made some good pitches, and Straw did a great job of fouling off some tough pitches, working the at-bat, and getting that walk. And you could just see the frustration by Spencer Schwellenbach. And then very next batter after that long 9-pitch at bat where he fouled off some tough pitches, he leaves a curveball, hangs it down the middle. Rodin doesn't miss it. And the next thing you know, you're down 2-1 in that game. And then the things just started to unravel from there. You know, Bichette gets the double. Then you get the wild pitch. Just, again, some more of that kind of that frustration. And I think probably a mental error a little bit from Schwellenbach. Look, we've seen him mature so quickly at the major league level. We almost forget it's still a young kid who is pitching at the big league level. But I think the game kind of got to him a little bit there. You got the wild pitch, and then you get the 3-2 count to Vlad Jr., and it's a borderline call. Could go either way. It looks like maybe it nipped the zone, but you don't get the call, and so now you got to walk. And so here's that frustration, and what happens? First pitch to Santander, cutter right down the middle, and you just can't do that to a guy with the power like Santander. So, again, I think that 5th inning all kind of set up by that first at-bat by Miles Straw led to some frustration, led for things just getting away from Spencer Schwellenbach. We haven't really seen that from him. He's been completely under control since coming up. So just very rare for him, like you said. Unfortunate for the Atlanta Braves, who, look, Lindsay, I remain confident that they're going to dig themselves out of the hole, but they're not if they can't win back-to-back games at all this year. If they can't get a winning streak going, that won't happen. But I believe it will at some point. This felt like the prime time for that to happen after you win game 1 of a series and then have Schwellenbach going with the way he's been pitching. But, he is human, and he will have a bad start every now and then. But even with that start, and not like his ERA balloon, it's still under 3. So, I mean, he's going to be great. I'm certainly not worried about him. I don't think anybody is, but just an unfortunate start. Unfortunate, really just 5th inning for him. I mean, he was cruising up to that point.
Yeah, and, his control wasn't the best in this game. It wasn't bad, like by Spencer Schwellenbach standards. He had a couple walks. He threw 86 pitches, 56 strikes, so he had 30 balls in there. That percentage a strike percentage a little bit lower than what he normally does. So it felt a little early like he wasn't on his A game, but it was still good enough to win, right? And then obviously that 5th inning, we kind of forget sometimes, and you did a good job of pointing this out, that he's a young player, and sometimes, especially in the major leagues with this pitch clock, these things can snowball on you in a hurry. They got out there and tried to do a mound visit to calm him down after the Bo Bichette double. But just a couple bad pitches, couple unfortunate calls, things like this happen. It's kind of like Chris Sale gave up. I think he gave up 5 runs to the A's last year. Like, end of the day, I don't think we're worried about Spencer Schwellenbach, but it's just frustrating how it ended up. And then Atlanta has to go to Zach Thompson, Rafael Montero. They combined to finish the game. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. It's kind of, when you think back and you look at it, the entire game is kind of predicated off of 3 or 4 bad pitches in 1 inning. And that's just unfortunate for a team that really needed to win.
Yeah, and that's just, kind of baseball sometimes. And that's what I said on the podcast today is, Spencer Schwellenbach's been great, but sometimes baseball just happens. And unfortunately, baseball happened against the Braves today. But you mentioned the innings by Thompson and Montero. That's big to be able to use your, sixth, seventh guys in the bullpens, keep you in the game, at least give the offense a chance to try to come back and to not have to use your big relievers. So that's now another day that they don't have to pitch. So again, that's kind of one of those hidden things you don't look at necessarily in a 6-3 loss, but could potentially be very beneficial for the Braves on Wednesday, depending on how things go and how long Strider is able to go in the game. But now you pretty much have a fresh bullpen. So that's huge that they were able to come in, put up those zeros, at least keep the offense in the game or give the offense a chance and kind of rack up those or eat up those innings so they didn't have to go to anybody else.
Yeah, the way that the ninth inning went yesterday with Aaron Bummer, where Raisel Iglesias had to start throwing. I got nervous that he was going to get fully hot. And in essence, that was going to be one of his 2 or 3 availabilities in this series. So you save everybody today. And I do think the point of Strider, and we're going to talk more about Strider in the second segment, but I do think it's good to have all those guys available because it's Strider's first start in over a year, right? We don't know. We know he threw 90 pitches in Gwinnett. We don't know where he's going to be. Having those guys available where you can aggressively use the pen if you need to, knowing that you have 4 or 5 guys out there who haven't thrown in 3 days, I think is pretty beneficial. In just a second, I want to get to the offense because we saw both the good and the bad out of the Atlanta Braves offense. I'll kind of explain what I mean next, right here on the Braves Postcast. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Honestly, FanDuel makes betting incredibly easy, whether it's like player props, just the outright winner, money lines, whatever it might be. The props are fun, 3-pointer, steals, assists, tons of different ways to bet your favorite props. And after the game tips off, you can combine live bets into a same game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com, claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Okay, Jake. So we saw 3 Atlanta Braves home runs in this one. And the Atlanta Braves scored a grand total of 3 runs. All 3 of them are solo shots. We get one from Austin Riley, his 5th. I do believe he now has the team lead in home runs, continues his hot streak. We saw one in the 6th inning by Matt Olson. Good to see his hard hit contact is finally turning into actual home runs. It feels like he's been incredibly close for the last week or so. And then Ozzie Albies adds a kind of a garbage time 9th inning solo shot to bring it into what could be a save situation, 6-3. But at the same time, the Braves also, outside of those 3 homers, never get a runner into scoring position. Every other hit is a single. They finish with 8 hits, but again, only the 3 runs. And it's not for lack of trying, but they just couldn't get guys into scoring position or string together multiple hits to try to generate some offense tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the downside of this offense for honestly several years now. I know we all look at 2023 and the big year it was, but even that team, it was primarily home run or bust. It's just they hit 307 home runs, so it wasn't really a problem. Yeah. But this team obviously does struggle to score without the home runs, and unfortunately, they got 3 home runs tonight, but nobody was on base, and that feels more like last year's team too. They get the home runs, but nobody was on base. Had one of the worst on base percentages. So it seemed kind of reminiscent tonight. I did want to touch on the Ozzie at bat. I know, like you said, kind of a garbage time 9th inning solo shot didn't really matter, but I thought it was a good at bat. He battled. He went to 3-2. I mean, that's a good at bat for Ozzie there to get the home run. So that's good. Obviously, Matt Olson, Austin Riley. We talked about them yesterday. Those 2 guys seem to be going now and getting going. So that's great. Now they just need guys on base for him. Ronald, please come back soon. But I mean, that is the problem with this offense is just if they're not getting the 2 or 3 run home runs, it's hard for them to put up crooked numbers because they just don't have other ways to score. You did have Nick Allen on today, and he's one guy that can do that for you, but he got caught stealing. So, I mean, it's frustrating to not have the guys up and down the order who can do those different things for you, get a hit and run, steal a base, things like that. But good to see the 3 home runs. I mean, Just unfortunate they're all solo shots, but that's what this team is built on. And when they're playing well and doing well, that's really going to be what carries them.
Yeah, and I think something that can help in the absence of Marcell Ozuna is what the Braves did today of having both Drake Baldwin and Sean Murphy in the lineup. Murphy goes 0 for 4. Baldwin goes 2 for 3. His line out in the 9th inning was 103 miles an hour. He's been one of those guys similar to Olson, how the difference in his actual stats and his expected stats, he has way underperformed what he's been doing at the plate with making quality contact and putting balls into play. And so seeing them actually be willing to use both catchers in the same lineup, a lot of those 2021 vibes when you had Travis d'Arnaud and William Contreras in the same lineup. And it makes me I feel good that you have an offensive mix for the most part, that as long as you can get some more contributions from your corner outfield spots, right? Jared Kelenic, Brian De La Cruz came in late and had a hit, but Eli White unfortunately went 0 for 4. I thought he had some good at-bats, but he went 0 for 4 today. Getting more contributions from your corner outfield spots, I feels like can get you to a place where these aren't all solo shots. It just hasn't happened yet. And I'm starting to wonder, do you have to wait for Ronald? Is there anything else that can be done? Do you need to play Eli White more, lean more into the small ball and the bunts? What do you have to do to get runners on base?
Yeah, that's really kind of been my take here. Really this season, I was hoping Profar was going to be a big part of that, of getting on base, being a table setter, especially till Acuna came back. Again, I went down a little bit of rabbit hole on this on the podcast today. I don't think we realized the impact of losing Profar because of what he could do for this lineup, and he was great to be that energy guy. And I think that's kind of taking everybody back a little bit. But I have been more of a proponent of those last 3 spots in the order. Give me guys who have contact and speed that can get on base and do different things for you. There's enough power in the middle of the order that if you can get those guys at the bottom on base, and some people have even suggested, I'm not totally against it, batting Ozuna leadoff. I mean, if you can get those guys in the bottom of the order on base, put your big sluggers at the top. So if those guys are on, then those become 2-3-run homers like that. Because I just don't think the typical leadoff hitter is in this Braves roster right now without Acuna. Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies, they're more aggressive type of hitters, not necessarily big on base guys unless they're hitting for a higher average. So that's maybe something that the Braves could do. I did want to note on Baldwin real quick. Great game for him and props because he hasn't been playing in a while, and he comes in, hits 3 balls over 100 miles per hour each and walks in his other at bat. So that's great to see. And I'm right there with you. Get as much offense in there as you can. I mentioned it yesterday. I mentioned it on the podcast today. Baldwin's your best bat off the bench. You got to find ways to get him at bats with Ozuna out. So good to see that. Hopefully it continues.
And to your note of the bottom of the lineup, look at yesterday's game. Nick Allen, Eli White batting 8th and 9th combined for 3 runs and an 8-4 win. So something where all they have to do is get on base, and Riley and Olson and Murphy and Albies are driving them in. So kind of the same idea there. Absolutely makes sense. And we've seen teams use the big burly slugger at leadoff before. Kyle Schwarber obviously did that for a while with the Phillies because he walks a lot. I feel like Ozuna probably walks enough where you could make this work. So again, Braves 6-3 loss to the Blue Jays. Tomorrow is the series finale. And the good news on this is we've alluded to it. We've obviously mentioned about it, but Spencer Strider is back. He makes his first start of the season. The roster move will be made, I would assume, tonight after the game or first thing tomorrow morning. He is scheduled to face off against Chris Bassett. That game's at 1:07 Eastern, so heads up. Day game. We'll have a postcast for you. It'll be obviously a little bit earlier than it usually is, but going to be really exciting to see. And to your point from the first segment, I do think having the bullpen fresh is going to be a good insurance policy, safety blanket for the Strider start tomorrow. But I have this feeling that having him back on the mound, it's going to be one of those jolts to the offense, the energy, the enthusiasm of, hey, we have one of the best players in baseball joining our team in mid-April. So I'm personally picking a win tomorrow, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Obviously, Strider returning. I mean, he's one of those guys like Acuna. I mean, it's must-watch television, so good to see him back out there. But yeah, the bullpen's fresh, ready to go, and you got the off day on Thursday, so hopefully he can at least get you through 5 innings. I mean, love to see more, but if that's the case and he looks good, go to that bullpen. Hopefully the offense can get things going against Bassett, who's been really good so far this season.
Absolutely. This has been the Braves Postcast for Tuesday, April 15th. You're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for both Locked On Sports Atlanta and Locked On Braves so you know when we go live talking about the next game. If you're on audio, leave us a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, whatever Google's using nowadays. Until next time, this has been the Braves Postcast.